All right, Notability, Part 3. Looking at some notes. Real quickly, I've got a note up here, and I'm going to change the note. All I did is clicked on top of where the title was, and I'm going to come up with some suitably cheesy title on it. And it's changed. And if I go back into the library, you'll see the title has changed here as well. All right, so one of the first things that was puzzling to me was how the heck do you go up and down? And that's the two-finger scroll, which I'm constantly forgetting. Because if you do one finger and you have a tool selected, so for example, I've got the blue pen here, and I'm doing one finger because I'm trying to move stuff around, then you mark on it. It was like, oh, crud. So undo, undo, and then undo it again. So you've got to do two fingers to move up. So all right, enough playing around. So let's take a look at the some of the tools you've got up top. Number one, and let's go ahead and make this smaller so that we can see it. Number one is the pencil tool. And on all of these tools, if you hold or you click on the tool, you get an option for changing some of the sizes and how big it's going, the ink is going to be. You can get ridiculously small. I'm keeping it kind of big here. And then what color do you want it to be? The difference between these two icons here up the top, that one and that one, the one on the left does this. The one on the right does that. And you can kind of see the one on the right, the lines are a little bit fancier. The left icon, it's steady. The right icon, it reads basically, I think it reads pressure. I know it reads speed. So it checks all of that out. So the pencil, handy for just writing. And this is what Mike uses a lot. I suggest using a stylus, and we'll have some to play with at the training sessions. So just remember, click on that, and then you can select how thick you want the lines and whether you want them fancy or not, and then what color. All right, same thing is true. The second one is the highlighter. So if I click on it, same kind of deal. I can have thin, thick lines, colors, whatnot. So we'll make this gray, and then this is just highlighting. Now you can highlight anything you've got on the screen. You can write on anything you've got on the screen. So for example, if you pull in a PDF file or a web page, basically you can pull in a screenshot from a web page, you can write on it, and let's say, for example, you had a graphic right here of some mountains. You could see I'm not an artist, and you wanted to highlight it, saying to everybody, okay, this is what I want you to look at, you could do that. So it's kind of handy for taking notes on in that kind of sense. The eraser is just like a regular eraser, except it's pretty smart on what it deletes. Click the eraser, and you notice you click it, nothing happens because there's no options, but all I have to do is to swipe through. And yeah, you can see the white line there. That's where I've swiped. Let go, and it gets rid of it. So swipe through, and it got rid of just the highlighting. Swipe through here, and it gets rid of the entire thing. So it's pretty smart on what it does. You can tell that didn't take very long at all. Let's go ahead and get some squiggles up here. The scissors are handy for dealing with bitmap graphics. If you've got something you want to get moved out of the way and make some room, select what it is you want to move, and you can move it out of the way like that. You can also style it, and again, you can go back in and change certain things about it, color or size, or how skinny you want the line, those kinds of things. So in that sense, it's not textbook definition bitmap, but for our purposes, that works. So that's what the scissors is for moving around what we're calling bitmap graphics. Okay, and the reason why this is all coming in as one is because it is all connected. If I have two things that are separated by space, then I can select one of them and move them individually, but they have to be separated. Whereas this one, it's all connected, so it's going to come up as connected. And you can tell you don't have to be very precise with the scissors, which is a nice feature. Okay, let's take a look at some of the text options here. Click the text tool. Notice if I click and hold on it, nothing happens. If I click on the page, then my keyboard comes up. This is when having an external keyboard, Bluetooth keyboard, is kind of handy if you're doing a ton of typing. And you've got here up at the top all of your font settings. By the way, the arrow here, right here, these are your tab and shift tab keys. I was trying to figure out how the heck you're supposed to tab, because you do have the option for doing outline style over here, and I won't tell you how long it took me to figure that one out. It's embarrassing. So there's tab, your font, and you have a bunch of fonts, several fonts here, and when they say more, they mean more. I think these are downloaded online off Google, so you have to have an internet connection to actually access them. But a lot of options there. Your size here, bigger, smaller, or if you click in the middle, you can select from the list there. What color do you want your type? Boldface, italics, underlined. Forget the A, B, and C for a second, and then over here on the right-hand corner, this is where you can set up your outline format, that kind of stuff. So if I select your top one here, type some stuff, return, type some stuff, return, and then if I want to, spell check, gotta love it. If I want to make this 2A, then I've got to click that icon right there, and you see there it went. Return, again, spell check is going nuts, and then I can take it in as many indents as I want and then unindent like that. So, and then how I got rid of the keyboard is that icon right there, in case you don't know that. A couple little quick things on the keyboard. I got really tired of clicking the 1, 2, 3 button and then clicking the dash and then clicking the ABC button to switch back and forth. What you can do is click and hold the 1, 2, 3 button, slide up, and you can see I'm sliding. So the dash, and then you've actually got 3 characters under the dash, and then when I let go, as I do right now, the keyboard switches back to the letters. So that's handy. For example, if I wanted to do 4 space FG space 7 space, I'm avoiding some clicking back and forth, back and forth. Another real handy tip, the kids love this one, something called the split keyboard. There's actually a video already online with this one, but if you put both thumbs on the keyboard, say around D and J, and spread them apart, you get that. So if you're holding the iPad trying to type, that's actually a kind of a handy thing to do. One quick point is that notice you've got E, R, T, and if I keep going, I've got Y there on an invisible key. On the other side, I see I've got I, U, Y, and if I keep going, I can get the T. So they've duplicated the letters on the other half just to make it easy. To get it back, click one thumb on each side and smush them together, and then you've got it back. So kind of a handy thing. The presets, that's the A, B, and C over here. If I click on A, it automatically calls up Helvetica A22, B, Noteworthy 26 point blue, and C, Baskerville 18 point red. Those are just the things I set up. To set it up, click and hold on the A, pick a font favorite. You can pick whatever font you want it to be, how big you want it to be, boldface, color, and then that automatically changes it. So if I'm typing and I want it to be that, space, click the B, and I'm driving spell check crazy here, space, click the C, and you can see it's automatically changing based on those presets. Those are just handy shortcuts, things to know. Okay. Each note, when you start it, starts with 2 pages. And the way you navigate between pages is up here on the top right-hand corner. There's the little multiple page things. Pull it out, and you'll see I've got, this one only has 1 page. If I click on that page, it takes me to the page. The X deletes the page. The plus adds a page, and I can add a page. Hello. Mine's misbehaving. There we go. Above the current page or below. So let's go above because I'm in the mood. And there we go. So now we have 2 pages. The one is now below, obviously. So there is a thing called a text document, and that is a handy thing to know how to do. Or not a text document, sorry. A text box. So if I select the text tool, and I click and hold, you see I get plus text box. And so I get a text box here. This sets the text inside the box, which I can then move around. Now this would be handy. Now what I'm doing is clicking on the boundary box, the boundary things right here, the blue, to resize it. And then if I want to move it, I'm just clicking and holding in the middle. And this sets text up inside a separate little box, which is handy when you're trying to add stuff into a PDF file folder. Now remember, this would be overlaid on top of the PDF. But if you want to add notes to a screenshot or things like that, you can actually set it to be different paper on the background than the regular background, as you can see here. And then you can delete it, you can copy it, paste it, whatever. The text wrap thing is where I can have text move in between and move around that. So that's enough for right now. That's Notability Part 3. See you in Part 4.